We have arrived at episode 26 of the Geekdom101 podcast, Pulp Fiction, the best movie ever, part 2. Original air date was August 19th, 2019, as we do the retrospective 25 years of Pulp Fiction. Of course, make sure you check out part 1, which is episode 25. This continues the greatness of this film. We go into so much detail here, it gets so granular that if you like this movie, you're going to learn a lot or at least enjoy us fanboying out over this great film. Let's go ahead and get to episode 26 of the Geekdom101 podcast right now. Captain Coons. Read between the lines on that. What? What'd you say?
Oh, cool. Why is the name Captain Coons? I mean, I know why.
I know why, bro. We're just going to leave it at that. But he tells the story of the gold watch. Just everything about this. I mean, it's Christopher Walken, bro. What do we have to explain how great he is? I don't think we have to do that.
So the whole idea, no. I mean, we're not gonna do justice to this dialogue. People have to watch this scene to get the awesome. Because first of all, it's one take, which is incredible.
And the delivery, bro.
And the delivery.
I mean, this is your birthright. He'd be damned if the slopes get the greasy yellow hands and get
That's right.
your birthright.
You'd be damned if the
slopes get the greasy yellow hands and get birthright. That he knew if the gooks got a hold of this, it would confiscate it.
Right.
It's your birthright. He'd be damned if the slopes get the greasy yellow hands and get birthright. You met the pilot named Wanaki.
So essentially, what he's trying to tell him here is that his father had to stick it up his ass.
And his grandfather.
And his grandfather. And he himself stuck it up his ass, right? Captain
For 5 years, bro. But his dad died of dysentery, bro.
See, all this shit is funny, bro.
Remember that episode of Raw where Road Warrior Hawk was drunk and he told Jerry Lawler that he never put him over in Memphis ever and that he was worried and he kept saying dysentery. Do you remember that? He's like, you never put me over in Memphis ever. He said that right on the air, bro. Vince Russo.
Terms. So what this scene establishes is that this fucking watch is very important to Butch, bro. It's a very important watch, and he has it to this day. Now, another thing that's kind of wacky is this when they're showing that very racist cartoon
racist cartoon that from back in the day, they don't have those anymore, bro.
With the little Eskimo
with
kid?
The Eskimo, yeah, and the mouth gimmick, bro.
What a great movie, dude.
Yep. And then we have, they actually don't show Butch killing, what was the name of this guy? Roy or whatever? The guy who killed?
No, he just jumps out the window.
No, I'm talking about the boxer who he killed.
Yeah, I forget his name, but yeah, they don't show it.
Yeah, and then he's in the car with Esmeralda Villalobos, bro. And again, this is more...
Another great scene, bro.
Another great scene. I really appreciate this scene more the more times I watch it, bro.
So, yeah, because this is another very film noir-ish fucking scene.
But I love how the background... They did that trick where, like, the background's, like, from a different movie.
Yeah, it's a film noir-ish style. Yeah. It's essentially what they do. It's called, what do they call it? It's called cheap filmmaking.
What is it like to kill a man? I don't know, honey. This is the first time I've ever done it before. Remember, like, Butch, what does your name mean? I'm American, honey. Our names don't mean shit.
No, but he looks at her name. First of all, her name is Esmeralda Villalobos. Yep, that's her real name.
Villalobos.
Esmeralda Villalobos. Yeah. And what's amazing about this scene is that Butch fucking changed his clothes like while he's doing dialogue without a camera, without a cut, bro.
That's right.
He takes away his Butch.
Yeah, and I like when he dies and he goes, "He died? Sorry, Floyd. Guess I went a little too far there." Because his name was Floyd. Remember he's on the payphone and he's like, "Let's not talking about the poor, Mr. Floyd, talking about the rich and proper, Mr. Butch, huh?" Bruce Willis is awesome in this. What a great actor, bro. That guy's a legit legend. He always will be in my heart.
I love that, bro. I love that fucking scene when he's on the famous. Let's talk about the rich and proper.
Butch Coolidge, bro.
So Esmeralda, that's my first scene. Butch, what does that mean? This is America, honey. Names don't mean shit.
Yeah. And then we're introduced to his girlfriend. Fabienne or Fabienne.
Now this is very annoying, but you're saying that I want you to analyze this because you have the perfect
Maria de Medeiros.
How Tarantino played us hook, line, and sinker with her character.
Okay, we'll tell the people the story here. So you told me in the past that this is the one scene of the film that you don't like because you think it slows the movie down. And
it's annoying, and she's annoying, bro.
So I know, but we're gonna play that up. I'm gonna hit you with the reverse, bro. You told me about the Sharon Tate theater scene recently, and I had to tell you why this scene was so important because number one, it establishes that they have a relationship, and of course he makes fun of her. My name is Fabienne. Do not talk like that. I'm not retarded. All you have to learn is 3 different things. Donde está la zapateria? Everything about this scene is awesome. We're in a lot of danger, aren't we? So basically, the entire purpose of this scene was to show that, number one, she's foreign, and because of that, she doesn't understand things. So when I'm going to be very careful what I say here, bro, because I don't want to get in trouble. We've all been in this situation before at some point with our partners. With our partners. Thank you. You're doing with our partners, which happen to be female in this instance here, where we tell them several times, don't forget this, and they forget. And so what Tarantino's doing is he doesn't want you to hate Fabi, but he wants you to understand how annoying she is, and thus at the end when Butch freaks out, when he freaks out on her, which is a classic fucking scene.
When he cuts a promo that we've all cut at one time or another, exactly in that same, not that same scenario, but away from our partner.
Yeah, and then when he calms down, he's like, maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have made it more clear to you how important that watch was. Then they cut to him in the car. God damn it, stupid asshole! I told her, buy the kangaroo on the nightstand.
But it's a quick cut, which makes it more comedic.
No, exactly. It's a quick cut. But the whole thing was done like the whole potbelly thing, right? That scene was just kind of dialogue to build up their relationship because, he's annoyed by her, but he actually likes her.
Yeah, potbelly.
Yeah. And wasn't she also in that Henry and June movie?
Yes, she was. She was the lead actress.
Yeah, so there you go. But I don't hate that scene. It is a bit slow, but I don't hate it at all because it builds up like that. This is not like she's not just a fuck to him, bro. He actually puts up with her bullshit. But unfortunately, she put his life in danger, bro. Is what she did,
What I like about the Butch character, there's a lot of things going on with him. Like
I'll be
again,
back faster than you can say blueberry pie. Blueberry pie. Maybe not that fast. That's the foreign American difference, bro. She didn't get the sarcasm.
So the thing is that what I like about Butch, bro, that Bruce Willis does so great is that there's a lot of insecurity in him, but there's also a lot of confidence because of exactly what Captain Coons told them. Captain Coons, bro. That's the name that he'll never be able to use again in his life. Well, maybe because there's people that have last name Coons. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
True. So he's got to step up as a man, bro, because a lot of people had that watch up their ass. But I love the fact that it's all about courage and it's all about making decisions because Bruce Willis, Butch is not the most confident guy, but he's also a man that has a lot of pride, and it goes back to the things that Marcellus was talking about. Because essentially it comes down to pride. The reason he goes back to get the fucking watch. He already had the money. He already was able to leave and take off and just leave the fucking watch behind, but he had to go get the fucking watch. And it led into the big fucking... that's another fucking calamity,
So he drives back to the old apartment, and he knows.
They're going to get flowers on the wall.
No, I think that was after. That was after he got the watch, I think. Because remember...
No, after he got the watch, it was... Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because, see, one of the things that Tarantino does here is there's no music playing because he's very focused. And this is brilliant. This is like little things that, again, you have to be a master storyteller. The reason why he's not playing music on the way there is because he's thinking about what's going to happen. He knows that Marcellus is sending hitmen to kill him. He knows he fucked the guy out of a lot of money. He knows that he's going back to that apartment is the last thing he wants to do. He knows it's dangerous. He knows that they're going to come after him and they're not going to arrest until he's dead. So he isn't playing it because I've been in this situation before. Not like this with mobsters, but I mean where you're thinking about something, you don't play no music because you're thinking about it. Once he has the watch, he plays the music because he realizes that, okay, I'm out of that drama now, I can relax.
And the thing is...
his mood changes.
Well, and one of my favorite shots on the film, just as like a cinematographer,
When he's walking, when the camera's behind him.
Yeah, when it's behind
him.
Yeah,
it feels like Grand Theft Auto, the video game. It feels like a video game right there.
Right, and it follows him, and then he goes through that fence because it's trying to show that this motherfucker's but he's also got to sneak in. He can't go in through the front door and shit because they're waiting for him. And then it leads to the scene with Vincent, which is also very tragic once we see the entire picture play out. And we find out a couple of things. Had Jules been with him, that would have never happened. And also the idea that Vincent never repented, never his redemption never came.
Yeah.
And then he ended up dying in a very brutal fashion, in the same way that he could have died when the hand cannon came at him, but this time it didn't miss and it got him. And even more tragic was that Butch didn't even want to kill him. What happened was that he put the Pop-Tart into the
went off. Yeah.
And it went off, and that freaked him out, and he pushed the button on the gun and he killed Vincent.
Well, I love how he goes back to his house and just puts a Pop-Tart in for whatever the fuck reason, and then the door of the bathroom opens, and they have that momentary stare down. But before that, he grabs the gun. He sees the gun up. I mean, and people have always said, why would you leave the gun on the counter? Can you really fit the gun in that bathroom?
But I thought that was Marcellus's gun.
No, I thought that was Vincent's gun, but you might be right. Actually, you might be right. It might be Marcellus's gun. You're right. You might be right about that.
And Marcellus,
because he left to go get food, right?
Yeah, he got donuts or some shit.
He got donuts in the middle of a hit, bro.
So
I like how Marcellus himself went on this hit because he couldn't send Jules, I guess. What about the wolf, bro? Why didn't he send him after him?
No, because the wolf only fixes problems. He's not a hitman.
That's true. He's a problem solver, bro.
Yeah, he's
like
the Mr.
Travis
Fuji,
Tomko.
the cleaner. So
cleaner, bro. So yeah, so there's that momentary stare down, and like Vince knows he's fucked, and then he shoots him because he has to, you know.
But Vince doesn't really know he's fucked because he doesn't know if he's gonna shoot him or not.
Well, he knows there's a gun pointing right at him, but yeah, and then he dies, bro.
And I like that momentary stare down because it plays back to their entire history that's been established, going back to the bar and all that lack of respect, and I think Butch's arc is about finding himself and getting that respect that he was missing when we first get introduced to the character, when he's kind of broken down and kind of, you know, selling his soul, for lack of a better term, to Marcellus. This is him getting his respect back and being able to move on from all this, which again, he's gonna have to go through another cathartic event before he gets there, but he succeeds and he's able to move on. But yeah, you're right. So this works in a lot of levels because Tarantino had really made us fall in love with Vince. Like we really got to really like that character. Yeah. And here he is dead. And again, the first time you see this,
shocking for sure.
It's shocking. It's a very shocking death. But it's well deserved because Vince was an asshole. So then he goes to his car
and
then he's
play
like,
flowers on the wall.
He's like, they always underestimate you, Butch. They always underestimate you. And then that's when he sees. See, again, one calamity after another, bro.
Yeah, he parks his car at a red light, and he looks up, and there's Marcellus. For the first time we actually see his face, he turns to him, motherfucker, and then he just guns it, bro, and runs him over. And then, of course, the people in the audience, or the people who were there, thought that he was the bad guy.
Yes, and then that leads to the accident, and then Butch gets out of the car. It's a good makeup effect where he's got all that glass in his face and he just kind of takes it off and you see all that glass just coming down. It's a good little effect right there.
And this scene is very reminiscent of the Reservoir Dogs scene with Buscemi too. So they have that kind of that street angle kind of thing. The one that Michael Mann used a lot in his films. You know, they have that angle there, and then you have Marcellus chasing him essentially, and then he goes, of course, to the racist convenience store with the Confederate flag up, bro, because why not?
And this is where again it's all about mind fucks. Like, who would ever imagine when both Marcellus and Butch woke up this is true to life too, because we're not in situations this crazy, although I'm sure people have been, but there's sometimes when we get up in the morning and we have this crazy day ahead of us, and we never even imagine when we wake up in the morning that this is what the kind of shit we're gonna go through. Right. And here we are, bro. Butch and Marcellus, they're in this situation where they just so happen to run into these fucking demented ass characters that are like just so fucking weird.
In some ways, they're worse than either one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like some sort of pawn shop where we get introduced to another one of that actor, his name's something Whitaker, I forget, but he was another one of Quinn's guys back in the early days, and yeah, he so essentially Marcellus and Bruce start brawling, and then they're on the floor, and then
he waits for him. He waits for him, and then he starts punching him. Remember, he's a boxer. You feel that sting, big boy? That's pride fucking with you. You know, he's getting him back for that.
Yeah, Dwayne Whitaker is his name.
Yeah, Dwayne Whitaker. Yep.
Which was another one of the Tarantino guys back in the day.
And Peter Green is also here.
Yeah, Peter Green got he got a big push for a while there because he was also the lead heel in The Mask with Jim Carrey.
That's right, bro.
So
he was in The Usual Suspects.
But it's a trip because why the fuck? What's going on here, bro? Like the mindfuck here is amazing. So there's a demented sheriff, and this is Los Angeles. So why there's a small town sheriff in L.A. I don't know, but he's just there. And so it goes into this weird, morbid segment where Dwayne Whitaker and Peter Green are like these rapists.
And for those who don't know, by the way, these characters are totally based on Deliverance, the movie, completely.
Oh, okay. That now it makes sense now. Okay,
Yeah.
I never even connected those two things.
That's where the Psycho Hillbillies came from Deliverance, bro. Remember, Tarantino loves his movies, but anyways, continue. But
it's a trip how he injected them into like the big city life. That's really what's scary because these people could be anywhere. So then it goes into this weird thing where Dwayne Whitaker picks both of them up and they tie them up and then they put like fucking those balls
in their mouth. Yeah, I don't know.
And then it turns out that they're into fucking this weird S&M shit.
And they're gay.
Yeah, they're gay.
And they're rapists.
And then they have the Gimp.
Bring out the Gimp. I don't know what it is about that song that pops me, bro.
But so then they go through all that and they both get tortured, both Marcellus and Butch, and then Peter Green, the Zed, he starts fucking Butch Marcellus in the ass.
Yeah, straight up, right there in the movie. You don't see anything, but it's there.
So what happened is that they leave Butch with the Gimp. They tie up the Gimp.
And by the way, they have no idea that Marcellus is like a
big
mobster. Yeah, they don't know what they're getting themselves into right now.
So, they leave Butch with the Gimp, and then they start fucking Marcellus in the ass, and then fucking because Butch is a boxer. Remember, it goes back to Butch being a boxer.
That's right.
That's the best part. So Butch punches the Gimp and he knocks him out.
Knocks him out in one shot, and he's dangling there, bro.
He's like fucking like that knee that what was that? Those two MMA jabronis, bro, where that guy got knocked out. Aspen, right?
Oh yeah. Ben Askren,
yeah. Ben Askren got knocked out with one shot,
by
bro.
the Cuban, bro. Yeah, I popped for that. But anyways, yeah, no. And then he goes outside looking for a weapon, and I love how he has like a chainsaw and all these other things, and he picks the fucking katana, bro.
Yeah, that goes back to Tarantino's love for all that shit. Okay, but here's where it gets deep. So Butch could have taken off right there. He could have left Marcellus, but Butch understood. There's this weird thing.
Well, he also wanted revenge.
On who though?
On the crooked Killbillies.
I guess, but in a way he didn't have to because he was free. He could have taken off.
That's true, but he wanted to make them pay.
And he would have allowed Marcellus to get his comeuppance for all the things he did to him, but he also knew that he would be running for the rest of his life, and he didn't want that. And also, I feel like there's this code in the street, like out of respect, that he knew that Marcellus, as evil as Marcellus was, he's still a man of honor when it comes to things like this, like protecting his manhood, right? So he went in on he made a choice, again, going back to the motif of choices, and he's like, if I save Marcellus, I'm gonna assume
that's
that
part of his character arc. What you're about to say,
right? If I save Marcellus, I'm gonna assume that he's gonna let me go because I just essentially saved his life. But he doesn't know that. For all we know, when Marcellus had the shotgun, he could have killed Butch right there too. But he trusts,
man of honor.
But he trusts the law of the street, where there's this weird integrity and this weird honor amongst thieves, where shit like this could actually work in your benefit if you do it right. So he trusts all that when he goes back in there. And so he goes back in there, and then Dwayne Whitaker's character is salivating, bro, which is very disturbing.
He's over like beating his meat, he's touching his fucking dick and shit. He's about to run train on this guy, bro.
He's like, oh yeah, and then the way Tarantino shoots him with that weird angle where his head is bigger than his body and shit.
Yeah.
And then, fucking Bruce Willis has that fucking I'm about to go to war face, bro. It's all in the facials. He's like he's sticking his tongue out and shit. And then when Dwayne Whitaker turns around, he fucking slashes him.
Right.
And then he looks at Seth, and then he flips the sword back and he fucking stabs Dwayne. That's a great scene, bro. And he just takes it out. And the whole time that song that you pop for is still playing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Zed stops fucking Marcellus and he's gonna go for his gun. He's like because he's got him fucking dead to rights with the sword.
Right.
So that's when Marcellus recuperates. He picks up the shotgun and he's like, I'm about to go medieval on your ass.
I'll go a couple of hard pipe hit niggas. You hear that, boy?
Hillbilly boy.
Yeah, hillbilly boy. Yeah. Classic, bro. And basically, go ahead.
First he shoots him in the balls to fucking neuter his ass. Remember, he shoots him in the balls.
Yeah, I know he does.
And that's when he
I ain't through with you damn by a damn sight. That's the part right there.
and then Butch tells him, what about me and you? There ain't no me and you no more. You leave, you want to say you be gone and you stay gone.
Also, real quick, did you ever notice how it ties into the beginning of the film when Jules says he don't like being fucked by nobody other than Mrs. Wallace, and how he says, why you trying to fuck him like a bitch? And then he ends up getting fucked like a bitch. I don't know if you ever noticed that before.
I never connected that. That's good.
That's good shit, bro. I'm telling you, it's a very deep movie, bro. I remember he goes, are you okay? And he goes, nah, man, I'm pretty fucking far from okay.
That's right up there with Cliff doing Rick Dalton's stunt for one last time, bro, in the third act.
I remember he's gonna call a couple of hard pipe hitting people to do work on the Holmes with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch.
On this Holmes right here, bro. I love how he uses East LA slang one last time, bro, just to pop me. That was done for me.
I just love that he says with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch.
Yeah, because you're thinking, man, what is he gonna do to this guy?
What is he gonna do? We don't even know.
It's too brutal to show, bro.
I'll bet.
And then he's like, you lost your LA privileges. You be gone and you stay gone. And then he just leaves, bro, and he goes pick up Fabienne, and then they leave with the Twilight Zone theme, which is very appropriate for everything they just went through.
Yeah. He's like, he tells him, don't tell anybody about this. It's between me and you. And then he's like, he'll Mr. soon to be living the rest of his short ass life in agonizing pain. Rape is here. Yeah, and then she's like, whose bike is that? That's Zed's. Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. That's a classic line, bro.
Ding, 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 ding. But I just pop at the just the wackiness of it all, because every single person in that Villa Vignette, they're all evil people, bro.
They're all evil, all of them.
But it's like one ups the other, like he's like this rapist here.
We forgot to mention the line earlier in the movie. Marcellus goes, "This business is filled with motherfuckers who think their ass would age like wine. You mean it turns to vinegar?" That's a great line, bro. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Fucking Tarantino just writing this great dialogue, bro.
It gets better with age.
Movie after movie, not just this one.
No, this one's special. So yeah, they run off, and then we have what? Then we have the continuation of the first storyline with Jerry Seinfeld and the hand cannon, bro. Die, motherfucker! And all the bullets miss.
And then they just look at each other.
They look. That's a classic scene, bro. And they just shoot him. Yeah, it's called the Bonnie situation.
Yeah, we haven't been naming the titles. Fuck it. The Golden Watch, Bonnie situation.
Then what was it? Mia Wallace and.
Yeah. No, Jack Rabbit Slims, I think it's called.
You sure about that?
I don't know. I should double check if you could, because I don't remember the titles.
Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace's wife.
Oh, okay. But the Bonnie situation comes up next. So going back to so they go to the hand cannon, and then like you said, that was another famous poster where both of them are shooting the Jerry Seinfeld guy.
Yeah.
That's another poster that made the rounds a lot when I was a teenager. So that's when the story changes, because that's when Jules has the epiphany.
Yeah, because the bullets from the hand cannon basically go right through them, right? And Vince thinks it's a coincidence, but Jules thinks it was an act of God. And this is where
But
the
from the
movie
very
really
moment
gets
it
interesting.
happened, from the very moment it happened, Jules is completely changed because he doesn't. He once they shoot Jerry Seinfeld, he freezes and he starts inspecting the holes. He looks at the wall. He's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And then he looks at himself and he's like, and that's it. He's completely changed from that point.
They should have been dead, bro. But Vincent's over here trying to be logical, saying, "Oh, it was just we got lucky. He was a bad aim." But it's like, no, that you see how big that gun was? It was bigger than him, you know. And it was a big gun for him to miss. But I love. We talked about this before. This is the archetype of the true believer and the non-believer. You know, it's very much like in other films, like for example, The Matrix. Right? You've got the non-believer, which is Cypher or Joey Pants. Then you've got the true believer, which is Larry Fishburne. So.
Fat as Morpheus.
No, he wasn't fat in the first one. It was the second one where he gained 130 pounds in the second one. But we see that a lot in great stories. Like, you know, also in Star Wars. We've got Obi-Wan, the true believer. We've got Han.
You mean The Last Jedi?
No, not that one. And we've got Han Solo. Don't bring that movie up here on this. We're talking about good writing. We're talking about
Knives Out, brother. You're gonna be there opening night, so I am.
I will. 'Cause I'm interested. I'm interested in Knives Out, bro. I'm just not gonna pay for it. So,
it's got a good cast though.
It has a great cast, bro. Bro, it's got Chris Plummer in it, bro.
That's right, and Chris Evans.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of Chris Plummer, bro, because he played the heel in Star Trek 6. Remember when he kept cutting those promos about Shakespeare?
Yeah, of course.
He's like, fucking, no, I love that heel, bro. He's like, what was the line? He's like, we take the dogs to war. And then he's like, it's better this way, right, Kirk? What a great heel, bro. The whole movie, he's a great heel, bro.
He ain't Clancy Brown in Highlander, but he's up there.
So the bitch was yours. No, that's a great heel as well, bro. But anyways, and remember, Michael P.S. Hayes is the first person we see in that movie. That is the first person we see in that film. Anyway, so the whole story here is, like I said, Jules believes it was an act of God, that God came down from heaven and saved their lives as a message telling them they need to change their lives. And Vince doesn't believe it.
And Vince is telling him stories about fucking watching cops and shit on TV.
Yeah, right.
He's like, I know it's crazy, but it happens. I like that he goes into John Travolta voice, bro. But it happens.
Yeah, that's John Travolta voice, bro. From Grease, bro. That's John Travolta from Grease coming back.
Yeah, I want to say he goes. I can't get in trouble on this, so let's just say that he goes into Matt Serra mode, bro, with that voice, and he's like,
I love my mom's meatballs that you retcon.
But it happens.
Yeah, come on, Joey. You're talking about the Italian voice. I got you. But
and then that's when they go into the next calamity, bro.
We didn't even mention Grease when we talk about Travolta's
Oh, he was on
that
fire.
was like the biggest movie of his career.
He was on fire, bro. This motherfucker was on fire.
So so we find out that Phil Lamar was actually working with them as an inside man. Now, what I never understood was, why would they need an inside man for these two guys? Well, I guess they have to have some gangster because of Jerry Seinfeld. Because these guys seem so soft at the beginning of the movie, but they got to do it in the closet with a gun. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but also, Marvin didn't even tell him, bro.
No, and they got mad at him. They were like, you couldn't tell us about the guy in the other room?
And he's like, because one thing Marvin is such an interesting character because he's freaking out and we never even know why.
It might be his first mission ever, bro. Maybe that's what it is, you know?
His first and last, unfortunately.
His first and last, yeah, because they're in the car, he hits a bump. Now, is it true that in the original script, didn't he, like, there was, like, a different story I remember reading where in the original script, he didn't actually blow his head off. He, what was it, bro? He, like...
No, the script that I read, he always blew his head off.
I could have sworn there was a different plan. But anyways, yeah, so in the car, he hits a bump. While he's holding his gun, pointing it right. He didn't put it back in his pocket. He didn't put the safety on. He just kills him, bro.
But this is so comedic, bro. I love this scene because, again, we go right into the quick-witted banter. Okay, so Vince is like, Marvin, what do you think of all this? Talking about the miracle. And then Marvin goes, man, I don't even got an opinion. And then bam, it's fucking...
Well, you've got to have an opinion. I mean, bow. Yeah.
And it's like, oh goddamn motherfucker!
Man, I shot Barbara in the face.
I love that much.
Dark
no,
comedy.
but then what about how Vincent? Because remember, he's a subtle heel. He's the biggest asshole. He was trying to throw it on Jules, bro. Well, you hit a bump. I ain't hit no motherfucking bump.
Yep.
And then this is cool because then for a little while it stops being a cartoon and it goes to real world because now Jules is scared because now they're driving around with this dude with his head blown off and they're all fucking filled with brain matter. Too, yeah. So they gotta get the fuck out of the road. No
you should be the one on brain detail.
Well, that's later.
Yeah.
So Jules goes right to his cell phone. And then Vincent panics. He's like, "What are you doing, man?" Because again, the little subtleties, like, is he gonna turn them into the cops? And then he's like, "I'm gonna call somebody. Save my fucking ass, man!" And then he tells him, "Well, I don't have any friends. This is the Valley," which is like an LA joke. He's like, "I'm gonna call somebody in the 818." Again, another Valley joke.
Of course.
And that's when he calls Jimmy Dimmick, bro.
Yeah, which is played by Quentin Tarantino. Now, that character was supposed to be played by Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, but I guess he was busy doing something else, which would have been cool as well. Now, this is what makes Jimmy Dimmick such a great character. The fact that Tarantino's not a great actor, because every time Tarantino acts, it's cartoony because he's not an actor. It's very obvious.
And he's dressed in the damn in the gown, like the sleeping gown or whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's because it's in the morning. It's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
that's
I know. And he's got the chancletas. I love it.
So automatically they show Jimmy and he's already annoyed because they start the scene with him. It's a bonding situation, and then Jules is in kiss ass mode. Oh, Jimmy, thank you for coming. You know,
some great coffee. I know it's great fucking coffee.
I'm the one that buys
it. See, Bonnie brings up that bullshit, but I buy the expensive gourmet shit or whatever the fuck he says, bro. Something like that.
But it's not the coffee. It's the dead nigger in my garage.
That's what he says, bro. And that's a quote. That's not you saying
that. That is
word.
the quote. I'm not saying that. That's the movie quote. I would never say anything like that.
Yep. Dead nigger storage is literally what he said.
It's like but see, I love how Jules goes like from being kind of a friend to just losing his shit like in an instant. He's like when you walked in here, did it say dead nigger storage? And it's like, no, come on, man. You know, it's like, no, because throwing dead niggers ain't my fucking business. Now you gotta call some people. You gotta make some phone calls. And you do that and get the fuck out of my house.
You know what's gonna happen if Bonnie comes home and finds a dead nigger in my garage? We're gonna get divorced. No counseling, no child separation, a divorce. I don't know how to fucking get divorced. and the thing is, you can kind of relate to him because...
Oh, I've had people bug me in my house because everybody knows that I live by myself. So this is when my friends get into arguments with their girls or whatever, I'm the one they come knocking so he'll have a place to stay.
Well, not just but more so the fact that he doesn't want to get divorced and he's worried about his wife coming home and finding out that... Because the way I always saw it was, I don't think Bonnie knew that Jimmy was friends or possibly a former gangster. I don't think...
He was in the life. She didn't know he was in the life.
I don't think she knew that. Yeah, exactly. And I think he wanted to keep that a secret from her, you know?
Yeah, and like what you said during our previous podcast with the retro, the juxtaposition here is this is the life that Jules wants now. So it's working on that level as well, because he kind of wants what Jimmy has, not specifically everything, but that calm, peaceful life after you've already been in the life of crime and all that.
Right.
So we established right away that Vincent has never met Jimmy, and Vincent is completely disrespectful. He's a fucking asshole. So they go wash off their blood and everything. And Jules is so polite. He's careful with the blood. He uses the soap properly. And Vincent's fucking staining everything, leaving DNA samples all over the fucking restroom. And it's like, "Nigga, what are you doing, man?" And it's like, "Man, this what does it say? This is hard to get off." And then he tells him, "I used the same fucking soap you did, and when I was done, it didn't look like a goddamn maxi pad."
Maxi pad, that's right.
And then that's when he tells him, "Jules, I like you and all, but it's pretty much telling them that if they don't get their shit together, they're both gonna be in a lot of trouble. Specifically Vincent, because he's the one that killed this guy."
Right.
So then,
he calls Marcellus. He's like, "I'm sending the wolf." Shit,
that's all you had to say, Negro.
That's all you had to say.
So right off the hop, you know that this wolf guy has a big, he's respected. Yeah, because Jules marks out for that when he tells him that. And then the biggest mystery of the entire movie.
Oh man, I love
It's
it.
8 o'clock in the morning, and this motherfucker's at a party.
Yep.
So he writes down one body, no head.
He's writing
Man,
it all down, yeah, in his little
he's like
notepad.
he's like Vincent, and then in parentheses white, Jules in parentheses black.
Yep.
So then he tells him, "I'll be there in 10 minutes," and then down there you see on the screen 9 minutes and 39 seconds later he comes in his badass fucking
No,
car.
first he says it's 20 minutes away. I'll be there in 10.
Yeah, this is 9 minutes 39 seconds later, and then
And of course, Harvey Keitel the alpha. We gotta clarify that.
he gets the fucking badass fucking intro where the doorbell rings. I'm the Wolf, I'm Winston Wolf, and then, dude, the charisma in this scene.
Oh my god,
we can't
every
do it
line.
justice. We can't do it justice. We just can't do it justice. First of all, the Wolf treats Jimmy like a punk, but he also respects him, which is quite the fine line to walk, by the way. He kind of punks him out, but at the same time, he has so much respect for him, and it's just the gift of being a good negotiator. Like he's so fucking calm.
You can you get some quilts and blankets? Well, I mean, this belonged to my Uncle Conrad and Aunt Ginny. And he goes, yeah. Were they rich?
Your Uncle Marcellus.
Well, your Uncle Marcellus is rich, right? Yeah.
And then he put again the theme of the entire these fucking hitmen.
What would you like? Oak? Oak's good.
I'm a fan of Oak. That's what I got in my
I'm an
living
Oak
room.
man myself. That's great,
and then Jimmy's just looking at the big wad of money, bro. He's just so magnetized by the big wad of money. And then I like when they're planning to clean up the mess. And then Wolf is like, "Is this car? What's wrong with this car? Is it gonna leave me somewhere? I don't want it to leave me stranded. I don't want. Does the lights work?" And then Jules is like, "Aside from the way it looks, motherfucker's tip top."
Yeah.
He buries his own car, bro.
And he tells him, he's like, all right, tells him to clean up the blood and all that stuff. And that's when we have that fucking scene where he's like, "You getting mad? Well, I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker. I'm the guns of the Navarone."
Yeah, because Vincent the whole time he's being a bitch,
He's
bro. He's
complaining about it.
complaining.
And he's like, "Mr. Wolf, I'd like you to be more polite." And then Wolf was like, "If self-preservation is your thing, save it for later or whatever." I forget the actual line, to be honest with you. I forget the actual line. Now, please, get in there. He goes, "Please, with sugar on top. Clean the fucking car."
What an alpha, bro. And I do like when he first walks in, he uses his little notebook because he wrote down all their names to identify all of them, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. He says it's 30 minutes away. I'll be there in 10, which is even better.
So he's like, "You must be Jimmy." And from what I understand, your wife won't be none too happy if she sees us here. I love that. What a great scene, bro. Yeah. No, he tells him, "From what I understand, your wife would be none too happy if she sees a few gangsters here." And then out of screen, you just hear Jimmy, "That's right about that."
I love it. Hey, Lash looking, say his first some jingling and jangling. So that's this scene right here.
Yeah, and so they fix the car, and then he tells Vincent's gonna drive his car, and then he's gonna drive the.
But first they wash off the blood, and they give him the new clothes, Jimmy's clothes,
right?
And they look like a couple of dorks. And he goes, "I know you guys have been a county before." He puts the water on him, bro.
No, he tells him, "To your bare ass."
To your bare ass, yep.
But if you notice, this is like a movie thing. He doesn't even do anything, so he gives him a couple little rinses and that's it.
Of course, yeah, that's it.
Oh shit, it's cold little motherfucker out here.
Dorks. They look like a couple dorks.
And the Wolf marks out at that line.
Yeah, follow me. I drive very fast, gentlemen, to try and keep up. And if any cops pull us over, I'll do all the talking, right? Which is alpha.
And then he tells Vincent, "If my car ends up any other way than the way I give it to you, Truck and Joe's gonna be disposing of two bodies."
Yeah, so that character, I remember reading there was a deleted scene, or in the original script, was there a scene where they actually met? I'm trying to remember if it was a deleted scene or if they actually had a scene where they actually show that character. It's like an extended scene. Yeah, there's like an extended scene.
Yeah, no, that one does it. It's on the DVD.
Yeah,
it does it.
Yeah.
It's actually played by Dick Miller.
Yes.
I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
The great Dick Miller plays it. Fuck, I forgot about that.
And they got cut from the final film. Yeah.
By the way, if you don't know who Dick Miller is, shame on you. He's one of the legendary character actors. One of the best scenes in Terminator was when when the T-800 goes to the gun shop and he asks for this fucking futuristic gun. And then he just tells him, "Hey, buddy, what you see is what you get here."
Yeah. And he goes, "You sure you know your weapons, pal? Any one of these is ideal for home defense." And he says, "Loading up there, keep that wrong." And which one will you take? Oh, he goes, we might close early today. Yeah.
Fuck. T-800's like, could I have the laser beam 10,000 or whatever? And it's like, well, you see is what you get, pal.
You know what actually pops me about Dick Miller, bro? And this is gonna sound wacky as fuck, but he was the voice of fucking Boxcar Boxy Bennett in fucking Batman the Animated Series, bro. I know that's
he was.
I know that's very obscure, bro, but
yeah, because his resume is huge. He's the he was in Gremlins. He was in the Demon Knight with the.
He was also in Ghost Rider.
He was in Ghost Rider. That guy's he just passed away recently at like 90 some years old.
Long
but
life,
he was
bro.
So anyways, you're right.
The dark side.
He was trucking Joe's. That's right.
Yeah. And then his daughter. That's when we have that famous scene where he's like, just because you are a character doesn't mean you have character.
Well, that pretty much what he tells us with that scene is that no matter where he goes, he commands respect. See that young lady? And then fucking Jules marks out for him.
Yeah, and then
did you see that? He didn't even get mad at you when you were fucking with him.
Pleasure working with you, Mr. Wolf. And then he's like, you want to have some breakfast? Sure. And then we go to the diner. And we don't even know it's the same diner right away.
No, we don't.
Not right away.
But they go back to talking about the epiphany. It goes back to that. That's still in his. No matter what they went through, it's still there. It's still that's lingering.
You want some bacon? No, I don't really dig on swine. Well, but bacon tastes good. Sausage tastes good.
And that fucking scene always gets me hungry. By the way,
always. No, that diner looks good, bro. It does. You know what scene gets me hungry, bro? And I know you're one of the only people on earth who's gonna get this reference, bro. Do you remember Andy Kaufman, Breakfast with Blassie?
Yeah, of course.
That classic little whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what it is. That movie makes me hungry, bro. He orders one pancake, and for some reason it just looks so good, bro.
Yep.
And then Fred Blassie talks about how whenever you shake the fans' hands, you don't even know if they even wipe their ass right. The finger goes right through the paper. And then he tells that story about how he was in Japan. I used to file my teeth down in Japan, which I believe, by the way.
I would definitely.
Classy Freddie Blassie, bro.
So that's when they're talking about. So Jules tells him, "Will you eat dog? No, because dog has personality." And then that's when he talks about fucking eating
Arnold
a pig.
On Green Acres.
Yeah. So they kind of cut the tension a little bit right there, and then that's when Vincent tells him, man, you kind of wound up a little too tight earlier, and then he tells him, no, I'm still thinking about it. I'm just gonna walk the image like Kung Fu, like the guy from Kung Fu.
Like Kane in Kung Fu. Walk
and
the
then
earth. So you're gonna be a fucking bum, right? You're just gonna be. That sounds like a fucking bum. Remember, he tells him that.
So that's when Jules gets very philosophical and it's like that something about that's how you see it, So pretty much he just wants to retire and just walk the earth like Kane from Kung Fu, which ended up being Bill.
He's got money, so and yes, that was Bill.
So then he's like, to be continued. I gotta take the shit, and then he grabs his little book again. That same book is also cursed too, by the way, because that's the one he's always reading when he's taking the shit. And
what was that book, by the way? That book has some kind of philosophical thing.
I forget, but yeah, it's the same book. He keeps on reading that book.
There's like a thing about that book that I remember somebody discussing once, and I forget. It's been so many years, bro.
It should be the same book that Rick Dalton's reading, bro.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome if it was. Okay, so the book is called Modesty Blaze. Peter O'Donnell. It's a Peter O'Donnell book, which is actually, I'm pretty sure he's the one who wrote Rum Punch.
Oh yeah, because he's a huge fan of that guy.
Of that guy.
Rum Punch was written by Elmore Leonard.
Then who the hell is Peter O'Donnell then?
Because Elmore Leonard, okay, that's another thing we forgot to talk a little bit about Tarantino. Elmore Leonard is the originator of this kind of characters with the wacky dialogue. All his books, like Rum Punch is Jackie Brown, and then you have Get Shorty and all those books by Elmore Leonard. He's one of the ones that introduced Tarantino to this kind of characters and the dialogue and the quirks of these characters. So you see that a lot in his books, by the way. So just for people to know the reference.
So I looked it up. It says that Tarantino has stated his interest in directing a modestly blazed film on several occasions, but to date, the closest he's come is the 2003 made-for-video production Quentin Tarantino Presents My Name Is Modesty. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
probably a documentary. I haven't seen it either.
It's directed by Scott Spiegel. He just produced it.
Yeah,
So-
Scott Spiegel's one of his boys. He's done a lot of low budget films for him when he had his production company years ago. He doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah, it says here, yeah, I've never seen this before. Interesting. But anyways, continue. So he goes to the bathroom and then all hell breaks loose.
Yes, that's when we have
The robbery. Back to the first scene of the film.
Right. So then Pumpkin is collecting all the wallets, and then he goes up to Jules, and he's like, "Your wallet is like, I can't get." No, he takes his wallet, the bad motherfucker, which
the one
actually
that says
has
bad motherfucker on it. That's later on though.
and then he tells him, "Give me the briefcase." I can't do that. Why? Because it's my boss's dirty laundry. So that's another nice little back and forth right there, and that's
I think sometimes it doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, it doesn't belong to you or him. Yeah, and so that's when they have their great scene together, Tim Roth and Samuel L. Jackson, and they go.
And I love how Jules is so confident because and he even tells him it's not the first time I've had a gun pointed at my face today.
Well, we already know by this point. This is a fact here. We already know by this point, Jules could blow this guy's head off anytime he wants.
Not just that. I want to make a point about that. There's two reasons why he's so confident. Number one, because you're right. He has way more experience. He's an actual fucking murderer. He doesn't need to be afraid of this because you know what I'm saying. He kills people for a living. And number two, which is the real deep part, after God saved his life, he realized he's no longer in control. So if he's gonna get shot by Ringo, he's gonna die. Or maybe God will save him again. See, this happens to a lot of people who find God. Not everybody, but a lot of people do, where they get this weird sort of calmness about it, where they realize their life is no longer in their own hands. I've seen it a lot with a lot of people who I know. I actually don't even have this kind of confidence. I have a lot of insecurities and anxieties, but people have that. Like, they feel this weird sense of peace, and that's where he's at right now. Like, I'm not even afraid to get killed anymore because that's what I survived earlier. I love that about that character. And Ringo is way in over his head.
Right. And what I like about this scene, too, is how we get reintroduced to Vincent. They don't show him come out of the bathroom. He's just there already pointing a gun at Yolanda.
Right.
And Yolanda's legitimately scared, which is another cool part of the film.
And it's set up like the end of Reservoir Dogs with the Mexican standoff. We have, Ringo pointing at, it's Jules pointing at Ringo, Yolanda pointing at Jules, and Vince pointing at Yolanda.
Right, which is, again, building that tension, because if you've seen this movie for the first time, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Vince gets out of there because he gets killed later on, but that's, maybe you're thinking maybe Jules gets killed because he's not around anymore later on.
Right.
So this is a great scene, too, because, again, Tarantino uses that pop culture shit that he's good for. He's like, tell that bitch to be cool. Be cool, everybody. Tell that bitch to be cool. Yeah. Be cool, everybody.
Bitch, be cool!
We're all gonna be like Fonzie, and how is Fonzie? Cool. I love that line, bro.
Yeah. He uses he could have killed them both, but like he says it himself. He's like, you caught me in a transitional period.
Yeah, but Vincent is still full of pride because when Jules offers the money for his own, he gives
if
Pumpkin
you give
the
that
money.
Man $10,000, I'll shoot him on general principle.
And the whole time they're wearing the fucking beach clothes, which is even wackier. So eventually, yeah, he actually changes Pumpkin too in a lot of ways because you want to assume that Pumpkin learns from this and he changes his ways as well.
They both did.
And so he buys. So Jules buys Pumpkin's life with his own money. He gives him. He says that's $1,200. That should be enough. And then he gives it to him. And they leave, and then that's it. Jules and Vincent get up, and they
walk to the door, and the music plays, and we're done.
Yeah, awesome movie.
Did you think? Because I don't think so. But did you think?
And
it's fucked up because as the movie ends, you're left wanting more. You want. It's like every Tarantino movie. You want more time with these characters.
But the cool part is that you know that after that they're gonna go to the bar. It's like a big fucking. It is a Twilight Zone where they go to the bar and then Vincent talks shit to Butch, and here we go again with the cycle again.
Well, and that was Jules' finale. I assume that after that scene is when Jules talked to Marcellus and said, "I'm done. Like I'm retiring after this. Like
that's right.
That's it."
And then he went to go get shot up and kill Bill.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but. No, and pretty much, I mean, I was going to ask you, do you think that the movie was lacking a big final action sequence, because I don't think it did. I don't think it needs it, but I think some people are saying, well, it doesn't really have, because most movies have that formulaic, big finale scene. And
that's more like Hollywood training. I think there's a lot of movies that end in a very anticlimactic way that are still very good. I mean, it doesn't really have to have that big crescendo, it doesn't, especially a film like this, which, like you said earlier, it was part of that new wave kind of filmmaking that was introduced in the early 90s. So I'm okay with it. It's never bothered me.
It's never bothered me either. I mean, I love the movie, obviously, but I'm just wondering if you felt that way, if you've heard that criticism from people, because I think complaining about the non-linearness of it is kind of dumb, because it's, again, like I said earlier, it's not a confusing movie. There are other movies that try this and they just don't get it right. This movie, and I think part of the reason why this movie gets it right is how smart Tarantino was about the aesthetics. And what I mean by that is, when you see Jules and Vincent wearing the Hawaiian clothes or whatever, Jimmy's clothes, you can tell what part of the timeline this is taking place in. So things like that, where you have the changing of clothes, makes it a lot easier. Whereas other films that try to do this, they characters are wearing the same clothes throughout the whole movie, so you just can't really tell.
And also these kind of guys, like the Tarantino types, like, they're gonna make a movie for themselves, bro. They're not really thinking of like, oh, what is the audience gonna like? Like, these kind of guys, they're gonna make a movie, and whomever they attract with that, that's fine. And if they don't, then that's fine too. Like, it's not like Hollywood with the suits, where like, okay, we gotta hit our time cues are here, and we gotta put this in here because that's what people are expecting. That's a whole different kind of movie making. These kind of guys are like, look, I'm gonna do my movie. And whatever. If people like it. People don't. I mean, he's going through the same shit with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Every movie.
Bro. And any auteur is the same shit. They're not gonna fucking make a movie for you. They're making a movie for themselves because it's an expression of who they are. This is a story he had, and he wants to tell it, and he's building enough equity to be able to tell it. So he's gonna tell it, and that's it.
But he also knows his audience as well. That's one thing.
But at this point, it was only his second movie.
No, I meant Once Upon a Time. That's what I'm talking about. Now. Also, did you know this movie was inspired by Black Sabbath? Not the band, the movie.
The movie. Yeah, because Black Sabbath is also kind of out of. Well, that's more of an anthology.
Yeah, it is. But I'm saying like the whole like the original sort of idea behind it was that. But
this film is an anthology too. You could break it down as an anthology. I mean, it's different stories.
But they all intertwine though, and that's it reminds me of Trick or Treat. They kind of did something similar. Not
Michael Dougherty.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Who did Godzilla?
I mean,
monsters.
This movie, I don't know what else we can really say about it. I feel again the soundtrack is amazing. They have little tidbits of the movie in the soundtrack. I have the entire soundtrack. And it's just I don't know what it is about this movie.
I think one of the things that we're not going to be able to articulate is how much of a cultural impact it had for people my age of that generation, because if you didn't live it, I can't explain it. It's something that you had to live. If you were a film fan, which I was, I've been into movies since I was a little kid, and at this point, I was lucky enough to like surround myself with a lot of kids that were into movies. I mean, I remember I used to get my paycheck from my first jobs when I was like 15, 16, and I used to go to like Suncoast and just blow all my money on buying VHS tapes. And the thing about
money will go quick at Suncoast.
Oh yeah, they were expensive. The thing about this era that I'm very nostalgic about is that it was like a gateway to other filmmakers, because when Tarantino blew up, he opened a production house called Rolling Thunder, which is based off a movie called Rolling Thunder, which is a great movie.
Rod Van Dam's movie, Rolling Thunder, bro.
And he redistributed a lot of the films that he was a fan of, a lot of these B movies and films that were kind of obsolete by this point. And so me and my group of friends, since we were like into this guy, into Kevin Smith, like we were watching everything these guys did. So when he opened up Rolling Thunder, we started buying those movies as well. And then Roger Avery stuff like Killing Zoe and stuff like that. So this was a very like nostalgic time for me, because there was so many great films. And they were all different. They were not like the films that I was watching in the movie theater. And even like Robert Rodriguez, he was part of that whole crew as well. And so this was a very good time for like people of my generation, because we got introduced to so many great filmmakers in a short amount of time that were giving us a lot of films that were the voice of our generation. Because to this day, like somebody like Kevin Smith, who's kind of became a hack later on, people might still respect him because of the impact he had with his earlier films. Like to this day, like
I agree. His first 5 movies, Kevin Smith's, are so good. Especially 3 of them. 3 of them are legitimate classics. It's hard to take that away from him. Like we clown on him because, you know, he never criticizes anything. He cries all the fucking time. He jacks off everything, says everything's amazing. But at the same time, I can't not respect him for creating really good art in his early career. I just can't, you know?
And so this was this weird, like, era where, like, even like Peter Jackson, because we started getting introduced to like Dead Alive and Meet the Feebles and stuff like that. So when like somebody like Peter Jackson in 2001, when he came out with like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, like we all felt like that was one of our guys, right? Like, oh shit, this guy's gonna work for a big fucking budget Hollywood movie, but he's one of our guys because we knew about him when he was making like so.
You know what? I will say real quick, David Sandberg. That's the modern version of that, because David Sandberg started with YouTube, just like me. Then he made Lights Out. Then he made Annabelle Creation. Then he made Captain Marvel. Or not Captain Marvel. The real Captain Marvel, Shazam. And I believe he's actually making another movie. I think he's making another... I think he's producing another Annabelle movie. I don't really remember. But the point is that there's a guy right there. He started on YouTube. And now look at him.
Yeah. I mean... I'm not really kind of Lights Out, but the movie. I like the short. I don't really care for the movie.
But the point is, he made it. Like he went from he made it, dude. He made it to you know, now dude. How do you go from YouTube to making Shazam? Like you know what I'm saying? Like a big budget DC movie. Like,
I mean, even like Michael Dougherty is the same way. I mean, Michael Dougherty did Trick or Treat, which was a very small film. And now he got to do Godzilla, you know, the King of Monsters. So all these guys are blowing up, bro. I mean, they all have their own thing, you know.
No, for sure. I'm just saying that it's crazy how, you know, when somebody like that makes it, it's always a nice thing. One thing I gotta respect James Wan for is he is good at finding new talent, even though they don't all hit. You know, he's trying. He's not hogging movies off for himself, bro. You know, like some other people would do. He's actually trying to find new talent to help cultivate his universes, Insidious, Conjuring, etc. And I think he's doing Aquaman too.
Good, because part 1 was really good. I really enjoyed that movie.
I did too. It wasn't perfect though. There were some issues, but I did like it.
But he has probably one of the best fighting scenes when Aquaman's fighting Black Mantis. You know, that's the great, like with those crazy camera shots and shit, and that little villa.
Roman Reigns, bro. Okay, so I guess he's not writing it, but he's producing it. But we don't know if he's going to direct it or not. But he's definitely producing it. Well, remember, he's got Mortal Kombat coming out soon. That's another thing he's producing.
Yeah, he's gonna come out with that one as well.
But he's not directing Conjuring 3.
Okay, well, good for him.
Michael Chavez is the La Llorona guy, which we'll see. So,
and to bring this all full circle, it always seems like we always have that 10-year gap where you have this new breed of filmmakers who just kind of do that, you know, because then even after the independent film explosion of the early 90s, in the late 90s, even early 2000s, that's when we had the Christopher Nolan guys rising.
That's right.
And even the James Wans, you know. So we always go through these lows, but then we always have that era where like all these young, and we're going through that right now with the guys we just mentioned.
Where you have Aster, the guy from Midsommar.
Yeah, Ari Aster's blowing up.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, so all these guys are coming up, and
even
so
the Russos, they went from TV to now doing big ass movies, bro.
Yeah, that's true, and all these guys are influenced by the generation before, and you're getting better movies because of it. You know, you're not getting that paycheck. Fucking, let me just direct this just because I need a paycheck.
Well, Jon Favreau did that with Lion King, but I mean, I guess everybody does a paycheck movie once.
That's another guy that came out of the Tarantino era.
Jon Favreau?
Swingers. Yeah, with Swingers.
Oh, I forgot that movie was that old. See, because it's Jon Favreau, and I kind of got to know him from Iron Man 1, you just forget that he started a long time before that.
Yeah, that was another one, Indie Darling, around the same era of all these other guys we just mentioned. Although he wrote it, Doug Liman actually directed it.
I was gonna say, wasn't his first movie like Elf? Was that Favreau's first movie? No, he wrote Swingers. Okay, he directed. I just looked it up. He directed Elf. He directed Maid. Okay. So
May was another good movie.
yeah, he directed. That was his directorial debut with Vince Vaughn. Yeah, okay. And him.
I'm surprised he never put Vince Vaughn in fucking any of the Marvel movies because they're boys. Oh, they were boys, but
What happened to Vince Vaughn, bro? Whatever happened to that guy?
he's still around. He's doing like those. He took the Jake Gyllenhaal role where he's doing like this fucking more of a art films kind of thing. He's doing pretty good.
That means he'll probably end up in the MCU. I mean, they got a lot of new characters coming up for Phase 4, bro. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
I want to see Leo DiCaprio in an MCU, bro.
I want to see him and Keanu Reeves, bro.
It's just a matter of time. They're all gonna eventually.
Every actor in history is gonna be in those movies at some point, bro. Because they're never gonna end.
Nick Cage has Kraven the Hunter. Just give it to me already.
Just put Nick Cage in there, anyways, bro.
Well, he was Ghost Rider, but they're gonna retcon that, so he won't be.
They already got a different guy now. Well, he's a comic book fan, bro.
Yeah, he named his fucking son Kal-El.
Yeah, I know. That's fucking weird. And I think he spent didn't he buy a giant Superman head or some shit?
No, he bought a dinosaur hair that was stolen, bro. He had to give it back. he bought a dinosaur head for $200,000 on the black market, and they found out about it, and he had to give it back.
We gotta do our Nicolas Cage appreciation show someday, bro.
That's true, yeah, definitely.
We gotta go. Remember, he went from being Nicolas Coppola to Nicolas Cage, bro. There was a transition.
That's good,
period there.
Yeah, that's good though. He carved his own identity.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying what I meant to say is when he started being wacky, that's when he became Nicolas Cage.
Of course. So that's pretty much it, man. I mean, again, there's a lot of things that we can't really articulate because you just had to be you had to be there.
And
you
even
had
if you weren't there, the movie's great.
The movie's this is my favorite movie of all time, brother. I mean, and it's a movie that I've seen a bunch of times and I never get tired of watching it. I've seen it on the big screen. I've seen it on DVD, on VHS, Blu-ray, every single medium it's come out and I've seen it. The characters like I said, this movie has timeless characters. These characters, you'll never watch a movie like this and say, oh, they belong in another era. These characters are timeless. They're never gonna go out of style because of the dialogue. The comedy always hits.
And I'm pretty sure I told you the story about how when I went to this video store here called Unique Video, and I think I told you the story a long time ago, about that was one of my video stores where they had that's where I discovered a lot of the cinephile shit. Because, you always clown me for not being a cinephile, and maybe I'm not as much of a cinephile as you are. But, I like discovering some of these lesser-known films. And I remember going to the store, and he had stuff like Cannibal Holocaust and the Guinea Pig movie. Stuff that you never see in the mainstream. Blockbuster never carried these things. Ever.
No, they couldn't. It was too crazy. Yeah, no.
No, you might get one. But that's it. So, in that same store, he had a VHS tape. It was the Pulp Fiction extended cut. Where basically, and I don't even know if this was, to this day, I'm not sure if this was an official release from Tarantino or if it was just a bootleg. It was probably a bootleg underground thing where they took the deleted scenes, like the one with the Elvis man, Beatles man, and put it back into the movie. And that was the first time I had ever seen that. So I wonder actually if that was an official release or just
I don't think so. I would have known about it. I think it was a bootleg.
Yeah. It probably was a bootleg, but it was definitely one that that I remember seeing, and that was the first time I ever saw those scenes. With the Elvis man and all that.
The Dick Miller scene.
I don't think that was in there, but I don't remember.
That's in the deleted scenes though, for sure, in the DVD. I remember vividly.
No, you're right, but I'm saying I don't remember if that was in the VHS tape because I think I watched that tape in 2000, 2001. It was way after the movie had come out, but I was like, what is this? Because this is when DVD was first starting. But yeah, I have the DVD for Pulp Fiction. I have the Blu-ray. And if it comes out on 4K, I'll probably get it again, bro.
So it would take him 3 years for him to make another movie, which is kind of became the standard for him. So he would choose Jackie Brown.
Yep.
And I don't know if that was because Roger Avery had left and he was insecure, but that was an adaptation. The only adaptation he's ever done is Jackie Brown, and it was another great movie. So people should check that one out because Samuel L. Jackson is the main bad guy there, and he does a phenomenal job there as well.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a step down from Pulp Fiction, but I think it gets unfairly.
But then again, what wouldn't have been? That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
No matter what he would have done.
That movie's got Tiny Lister and Pulp Fiction does not, bro. So.
Yeah, he would have to wait till Inglourious Basterds to do another what's considered a real classic, an all-time classic. So, he kind of did Kill Bill too.
But it got cut, I guess.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's pretty much it, man.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us for almost 3 hours total. I don't know if it's gonna be cut into 2 parts or 3 parts. I'll figure it out later. But thank you, and thank you for being here, Dre. We finally got the Pulp Fiction show done.
Man, years and years and years.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll talk about it again in 10 years, the 35th anniversary.
But we should do more retros from directors. There's other like we could do James Cameron. There's so many other great filmmakers that
You know
that
what?
I
When
think
James
deserve.
Silent Bob comes out, we'll do Kevin Smith because I actually found out that the Road Show is coming here, so I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know it was coming to Tampa, but it is coming to Tampa, so I think I will be attending that, bro, at the Tampa Theater, bro. I think I may actually attend that. Let me see if I can get. It's $50 to get in, bro.
No, you should have a cheaper option. I think it was like that's like with a picture and all that crap.
Yeah,
I know you're not.
I might do it. I'll write it off.
Okay, well, he's gonna die soon, so might as well.
It says here, if you're a fan of James Silent Bob, you know this is not for kids. We need proof. Watch the R-rated NSFW Red Band trailer here. I gotta see how I buy these. I found it, but I don't know how to buy these fucking tickets. Whatever, I'll figure it out later. Anyways, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.